Kiss's I Was Made for Loving You is basically a character in this movie. Let's review The Fall Guy. The Fall Guy stars Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and is directed by David Leitch. What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new 2024 review. We're going to review The Fall Guy. Is this, because I didn't watch the television show back in the 80s. I just knew that Lee Majors was in it. But there is definitely a little homage to Lee Majors in this movie with the but that's from a different property. The Fall Guy is basically an homage, a tribute to our hardest working people in Hollywood, our stuntmen.
One last stunt, going down in a blaze of glory.
And I think this would be a great double feature with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, if I'm being honest. But I'm looking forward to jumping into this review. And I will tell you right now, there are definitely pros and cons to this movie, okay? But first off, let's give you a quick plot synopsis. Ryan Gosling, he plays Colt, and Emily Blunt plays Jody. This movie is basically a romance movie between the two of them. She's going up in the ranks. At the beginning of the movie, she is like a camera person, and then she eventually becomes a director. There's an accident that happens at the beginning of the movie, a stunt gone wrong with Colt. And during that time, they were together, and then they sort of fell apart. And because of his accident, he's kind of out of commission for 18 months. And so when he comes back, there's just kind of a tug of war between the two of them in this movie. Also, gotta mention Aaron Taylor-Johnson. He plays Tom Ryder. You would consider him like the equivalent of Tom Cruise in this movie. You know, he's like the big action star, the face, right? And the stunt double for him is Colt, played by Ryan Gosling. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, he's really hilarious for the scenes that he's in. I love how these movies that are about Hollywood, they make fun of actors and how egotistical they can be and maybe even narcissistic. This movie is no exception. They definitely poke fun at the profession while definitely honoring the guys that actually do all the stunts, the stuntmen. And really, at the end of this day, guys, this movie is just a big stunt extravaganza. I'd say ignore the plot. This isn't like, you know, your beautiful romance movie, but that's not to say that there's not a lot of charm in the performances, okay? I mean, you got Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, two of the most charismatic actors working today, and they definitely do their thing in this movie. You can't help but smile when they're on screen together, but also just Ryan Gosling, and he just has this knack for just being so charismatic and funny and willing to poke fun at himself. I think that's the loophole that those actors that are overly good looking, that's how they get the in with the audience, is they poke fun at themselves. And I think he's one of the best that does that. He always pokes fun at himself in his movies. And Emily Blunt's just a sweetheart. Now, the big thing that I loved about this movie, aside from all the stunt set pieces, because this movie is chock full of them, and that's what you're really here for. But also, there's some really great music in this, and every time it seems like Colt is doing his thing, they play I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss. There's even like a cover of the song in the movie. And as a big Kiss fan, as you can tell with my shirt, I had a smile ear to ear. You're definitely courting me when you start playing Kiss on a movie, and when you play it over and over and over again, then it's hard for me not to like it. So I'll go ahead and tell you right now, I'm a little biased because this movie is full of Kiss love. But also there's a great Phil Collins moment with one of the greatest songs ever written, in my opinion, Against All Odds. And that's one of the best scenes in the movie, I think, too. There's this whole stunt set piece that's going on during that part of the movie. That, you know, there's a karaoke thing going on, and you got Emily Blunt singing that song while Colt is doing his thing. And this movie's just full of comedy. It's really, really funny, okay? But let's jump into the cons. I do think this movie's a little bit too long. I think they could have easily cut out about 20 minutes of this movie. Also, Emily Blunt, her character is creating this movie, and this has been her lifelong ambition. And I know that you can't really take the plot of this movie seriously, but the movie that she's making, it's about cowboys and aliens, and just from what you see on the screen, it looks like the worst movie ever made, okay? Which is kind of silly. But, I mean, that didn't take me out of the movie or anything. I mean, it even added to it because of how silly it was. And I do love movies that get to show you behind the scenes of any profession, really. And this one just being Hollywood and seeing all the moving parts. And this movie, you can see the dollars on the screen, okay? It feels like a really big budget movie. And oftentimes, these movies can lack in the plot department, the story department. But luckily, there's a lot of comedy there, but I just think it's a little bit too long. And oftentimes disjointed because, yeah, it's an homage to like stuntmen, but there's sometimes where it's like, okay, we're telling the story, and wait, let's stop here and let's just do a whole big stunt set piece and forget about the plot, okay? And the stunt set piece can sometimes kind of go overboard, and it feels like, you're at Universal Studios and you're watching one of those stunt extravaganzas that they have those. That's what this movie kind of felt like. It's like it stepped outside of the movie world for a second and it went into like the stunt world, and then it goes back into the movie world. And you'll see what I'm talking about when you watch the movie. But overall, I'm going to give it a high humdrum. I still had a really good time with the movie. Ryan Gosling, charming as ever, funny as ever. And the same thing with Emily Blunt. I mean, you can't help but love watching her on the screen. So, and I liked all the nods to like, movies from the past, especially like Julia Roberts movies and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a fun Saturday afternoon movie, The Fall Guy. So definitely check it out. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free for Fridays. Follow my Drumdums on my socials. Support me on Patreon. Buy me a coffee. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Drumdum out.